You know, it's a small school and there wasn't much online about you. Oh, you know, you should really get on Insta, Snapchat, and TikTok.
I find social media to be a soul-sucking void of meaningless affirmation.
Right on the mark. Howdy, y'all! I'm Adam the Renaissance Nerd, and welcome to my first impressions review of Wednesday, Netflix's new show based upon Charles Adams's The Addams Family. Now, I'm going to put it right out there now, I am an Addams Family fan. I've been that way all my life. When I was a young lad, Nick at Night graced me with the original Addams Family television show. Watched it, loved it. Then I discovered amongst the coffee table books in my home was Charles Adams's My Gang, just a big collection of all his art and lots of old school Addams Family strips in there. Read that, loved it. Then in 91, we were graced with the first of the two Addams Family reboot movies starring the late great Raul Julia, Angelica Houston, and Christopher Lloyd. And the Addams Family Values, still a good movie. Not as good as the first one, but still good. And then a couple years later, there was an animated cartoon put onto Saturday morning on ABC, Addams Family Show, which kind of fused everything that was great about the original show and the reboot movies. Great stuff. I love my Addams Family. It's always been a fun thing in my life. So when Wednesday was announced, I was hopeful that it was going to be good because we're in 2022, guys. You know as well as I do at this point that just about anything can go wrong once it's announced, because woke is an infectious disease, and it's gotten into everything. Now, is Wednesday good or bad? All 8 episodes dropped today on Netflix. I've watched the first 2, so this video is my first impressions of episodes 1 and 2. I will continue to watch them and let you know how I feel as I go every 2 episodes until I reach the end. So it's going to be a few days. I want to take my time, take it slow, not rush this. What do I say so far? So far, so good. Yes, there were a couple of silly, wokish lines here and there, but not enough to detract from the overall enjoyment of the show. Because, like it or not, Wednesday Addams is a strong female character. She is a little bit of a badass. And she comes from a background of crazy badasses. So for her to be portrayed as a powerful young lady who's going to go around taking no shit and doing a lot of shit to other people, it's okay. I'm okay with that. A couple instances, maybe, maybe not. But when you watch the scenes closely, it still makes sense how she was handled and allowed to behave in it. And I'm not going to do a lot of spoilers. A couple things here and there maybe, but this is going to be about, I would say, 90% spoiler-free. So if you are concerned about being spoiled, maybe just go watch it and then come back and see if you agree with what I said. Anyway, let's talk about it real quick. Because, again, it's not going to be a long form. We're just going to go through it. I'm going to give you my impressions about the story, the acting, the writing, the directing. Ooh, the directing. A little bit of the music, and where I see it going from here. We'll start with, of course, the story. This is about teenage Wednesday and basically reaching the end of the road of going into public school. The story begins, we've seen it in the trailers, Pugsley gets bullied, and Wednesday takes matters into her own hands in order to punish the abusers, the bullies, the jocks. It starts off, though, with Wednesday getting a vision and seeing her brother being bullied, and this is something interesting that the show has done. The show is actively embracing the supernatural stuff of the Addams Family. A lot of the time, especially in the original show, they dodged it completely. They didn't really go into a lot. They're creepy and they're kooky, but we're not going to really ham up the supernatural aspects. In the 2 movies, they dug it into it a little bit, danced around it, referenced it a little bit here and there, but they didn't really dive too deep. The cartoon really went into it hard. Again, it's a cartoon, you can get away with it. But this show is really embracing the supernatural aspects of the Addams Family world. Wednesday is developing visions. That's going to play a large role, as we can see so far in these first 2 episodes, in her solving the mystery that's about to be laid before her and intrigues her enough to stay the road of where she is now. What happens basically is Pugsley gets bullied. She takes revenge. We've seen in the trailer, she dumps piranhas in the pool, and the chief bully gets we learn later that one of his testes got lost. One thing you got to say, this show is plenty graphic. It's borderline blood and gore, but there's enough that you realize, okay, you see what's going on. You see scattered limbs, you see attacks, there's blood, there's disfigurations is the word I'm looking for, broken neck here and there. You see good stuff, and I like it. Anyway, as I said, this is an end-of-the-road thing for her. The public schools, we learned she's gone through 5 of them in the past 5 years. She is now being shipped off to boarding school. But it's a special boarding school where Morticia and Gomez once originally met. It's called Nevermore Academy. I guess you could call it kind of bootleg Hogwarts, but it's still a little place next to a nice little town. I forget what the town is called at the moment. Either way, she goes there. Now, Wednesday wants to escape. She doesn't want to be there. She wants to go off her own. And frankly, we're dealing with a little bit of teenage girl issues. She's angry at her parents. She feels like Morticia is smothering her, wanting her to be like her. She feels like Gomez is also kind of being a bit of a dick. Standard little teenage girl storyline. Okay with that, but it's Wednesday, so it's a little more harsh from the perspective of it. Long story short, not to drive too many spoilers, Wednesday is left at the boarding school. She is an outcast among the outcasts in this school. This is a school for outcasts where you got everything from vampires to sirens to werewolves to characters with telekinetic powers, shapeshifters, all kinds of cool stuff in there. Nice. Their most honored alumnus is Edgar Allan Poe. That's going to play a large role right now, so far, at least in these first 2 episodes. And going forward, it may or may not. We'll see. But Wednesday wants to escape and tries to escape, but then gets caught up in a mystery surrounding herself, which is kind of a cool little twist. It's not so much solving the mystery of what's going on here. She seems to be the center of the mystery, per an event in the end of episode 1. Therefore, Wednesday is going to be doing Mystery Girl stuff while having these misadventures in between, it seems. Either way, so that's kind of the gist of what's going on, and so far, so good. The story is nice little beats. What I can say so far definitely is that the writers and definitely the director, Tim Burton. Yes, Tim Burton directed both the first 2 episodes. Don't know about 3 through 8. We'll find out, but he directed the first 2 episodes, and you can tell. Either way, but the director and the writers, they're treating you and me, the one who is watching this, with respect. There's no dumb dialogue reiterating awful things and stupid things. No. When something happens, you see it happen. A lot of show don't tell in this. And because that's Tim Burton. Tim Burton do show don't tell. A lot of show don't tell. Especially the glorious thing. The disembodied hand. He's present. He's playing a large role. And he's just a hand. Doing stuff. Now, I object to the physical representation thing. I'm not a fan of this stitched up thing, especially after the reboot movies, which created the disembodied hand thing instead of just coming out of the box like in the original show. I don't like the stitching. I'm 2 episodes in, I'm sort of used to it, but I'm not happy with it. I think it was unnecessary. I don't like that. But Thing plays a massive role because Morticia and Gomez leave Thing there to kind of look after Wednesday. And they have a great little relationship going on, and it shows Wednesday's faults in her character, which is great because we're getting Wednesday while being strong, powerful little girl, well, no, teenage girl. She is also not perfect because she is antisocial. She does not relate well to others. And when she arrives at Nevermore, let's just say out in the real world among what they actively call the normies, she was an apex predator. She could not be stopped. Here at Nevermore, there are levels, and she gets a defeat early on, which shows that she can't just walk up and win every time. So she's not a Mary Sue, even though she has a high aptitude of ability across the board. But it's good. Wednesday has faults. You can relate to her. You can see her struggling with them a little bit. Even right now, and we'll get into that maybe another time as we go deeper into the series and I do more videos on it. But still, Wednesday is a complex character we want to relate to because we're enjoying her. And I'll explain why that when we talk about Jenna Ortega's performance. Either way, though, Thing being there is a fantastic evidence of a lot of show don't tell, especially when he gets a solo scene in episode 2 at the train station. It's great. Everything show don't tell because they trust us to make the leap of logic of what's going on, or to at least start asking the questions. So the writers and the director, Tim Burton, so far are treating us with respect, as opposed to, I don't know, Rings of Power, which treated nobody with respect in terms of direction and writing and storytelling. Anyway, so we're all right there. Now let's talk about the cast. The cast, I like the cast. Everybody is either delivering an okay performance or a spot-on performance. We'll start with everybody else and lead up to Jenna Ortega. I originally complained about Luis Guzman being cast as Gomez. My complaints are still there. They haven't been completely justified. I'll admit that. He delivered an okay performance. I'm still not happy with his choice. He's a guest star. He's not he's reoccurring. He'll come back maybe once or twice more. And what we will get from some Gomez stuff will be flashbacks. But he was okay. He's still not my ideal Gomez. Raul Julia is a tall order to reach. Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia. She's okay. I felt like she was kind of just phoning it in a little bit. Didn't really feel it that much. Felt a little bit phoned in. And we didn't get a lot of classic catchphrases between the two. He didn't call her Camille. She didn't speak French. They had their obnoxious public displays of affection, which Wednesday was vocally angry at, which was funny. But still, they were okay. Everybody else, Christina Ricci, who has played live-action Wednesday in the movie reboots, she is in this as well. She delivers a great performance. What's her name? Giant blonde chick lady. I don't remember her name right now, but she delivers a good performance. She's fine. Everybody is really, all the kids, everybody's great. And Jenna Ortega, fantastic. Fantastic. She is fully embodying the snarky darkness that is Wednesday Addams. That Christina Ricci began with the 90s reboot movies. Jenna Ortega, the writing is spot on and her delivery is perfect. And you really are enraptured by her because she's deadpanning it all the time. Small little bits of emotion when she does it, but it's great acting. And I am enthralled and I'm enjoying her as Wednesdays. And you would think 2 episodes in that you would get tired of Wednesday's snark, the constant comebacks, the constant twerks and tweaks, the constant borderline bitch mode. But you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it so far because Jenna Ortega is delivering. She's hitting the note every single time, and she's physically empowering the role because she moves with the proper confidence that Wednesday would. So Jenna Ortega, great so far. 2 episodes in, fantastic. And I think she's going to carry it. As she is the star of the show, she's doing it. She's doing it, and it's great, and I really think she's going to carry it all the way through. Let's see, what else? As I said, the direction, this is Tim Burton. Tim Burton, say what you will about some of his sort of zanier projects over the years. Tim Burton knows exactly what he's doing. Great angles, great shots, proper close-ups. Do you remember during my Rings of Power reviews and conversations on This Is Mordor Country, we talked about awkward close-ups? No, Tim Burton knows how to do a proper close-up to invoke the proper angle, the feeling, the emotion that the actor... He knows how to draw out the characters of his actors. It's fantastic. Tim Burton does an A-plus job in directing these first two episodes. Again, don't know 3 through 8. Maybe he directed them all. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I like being surprised. But he nailed it in these first 2 episodes. You are in the world of Nevermore. You're there. You're pulled in. Everything works. Shadow, lighting, scenery. Everything is just right. Even the choreography. Yes, during one point, Wednesday has a melee with 3 local townie normies in a coffee shop. Yeah, she takes them all out, but she does it in a way that she would. She uses pressure points. She jabs at joints and at the throat, kicks a guy in the balls. She fights like a girl would, a trained girl would in that situation. She's not throwing guys around, or she does one judo throw, but it's a judo throw. Anybody can do a judo throw, but it's not overpowering. It's overpowering, but you know what I mean. It's not 90-pound girl taking on a 300-pound guy. It's dudes who are around her age, and she's using their own momentum against them. She's using joints and proper pressure points and this and that, and it works. I'm okay with it. Just now, the fencing scene at one point in episode 1, not a fan of that. It was a saber duel. Now, I was a foil fencer, personally. I wasn't a saber, so I don't know the mechanics, but I watched saber dueling up close. I'm not sure if it was completely accurate. It didn't look too good to me. I didn't like the way they were doing that. A lot of spins, a lot of turns. And that was, I think, if there was a drawback to Tim Burton's direction, it was that scene. Did a little shaky cam, little cutting back and forth from the duel, so we didn't see it all the time. But I'll give it a pass because it was the result of the scene hit a good mark. It hit a good mark of Wednesday's character development. Other than that, let's see. Danny Elfman did the music. Passable job. The music is evoking the proper mood at times. But overall, it's respecting the viewer and an Addams Family fan. If you've caught them, there are several call-outs and shout-outs to the Addams Family lore. At one point, she's talking to one of her 2 possible love interests, Wednesday, the local townie boy who is not put off by her. And he says to her, you're kind of kooky. I think I'm a little bit spooky. There's a lot of little shout-outs here and there. At one point, at the end of episode 2, when Wednesday figures something out, she does the famous Addams Family. She does the double snap. And there's a bunch of little things here and there. Oh, one of my favorites is a shout-out to the original show. She's getting questioned about when she's fixing the espresso machine in episode 1 for possible love interest number 1. He says, wow, you have real talent doing this. She goes, yes, I'm familiar with this. I built a guillotine when I was 10. He says, why? Because I wanted to more efficiently cut the heads off my dolls. Back in the day, Wednesday carried around a headless doll. So you see, there's a lot of proper shout-outs to what came before. Respect for the lore. I know. It's amazing, isn't it? But still, either way, so far, so good. Episodes 1 and 2, I say give them a watch. I'm going to continue over the next couple of days to watch the rest of it. I will decide as I go forward whether to give you 2-episode pops or wait till give you a 3 through 8 final review. But either way, all right, thank you, Wednesday. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're new here, check out the channel, subscribe to it. Want to earn your trust and support using facts and logic, because facts and logic do not care about fees. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Have you watched Wednesday? Did you enjoy it as much as I have so far? Please, if you have watched farther ahead than I have, no spoilers. That's all I ask, no spoilers. All right, guys, take it easy. See you next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to get in touch with me, you can reach out to me at therentnerd@gmail.com. That email's for channel business only, so I check it on a daily basis. Also, you can find me at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS, and you can find me at Rumble and Odyssey, The Renaissance Nerd. Thank you again. See you next time.